Hi, and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered what it would take for U.S. troops to be deployed right here, on American soil? What law even allows that? And how close have we come in recent years? Today, we're breaking down the Insurrection Act, the 200-year-old law that gives the president the power to send the military into our own cities. It's controversial, it's powerful, and it could change everything you think you know about how far the U.S. government can go in a national crisis. The Insurrection Act was first passed way back in 1807, and it's still on the books today. It allows the president to use military forces inside the United States to restore order when ordinary law enforcement can't handle things. Normally, that's illegal under another law, the Posse Comitatus Act, which says the military can't act like police on American soil. But the Insurrection Act is the big exception. It's basically the president's emergency key. So what does that mean in real life? Let's break down when and how it can actually be used. There are three main situations when a state asks for help. If a governor says, "We can't control this riot, we need backup," the president can deploy federal troops when federal law can't be enforced. If the president decides that unlawful groups or rebellions are stopping federal law from being carried out, they can act, even without state approval, when constitutional rights are being denied. If a state refuses to protect its own citizens' rights, think massive civil rights violations, the president can step in directly. The problem? Terms like insurrection or unlawful obstruction aren't clearly defined. That gives the president a lot of discretion. And that's where things get controversial. Despite the power it gives, presidents have used it sparingly, only about 30 times in U.S. history. Some major examples: 1957, Little Rock, Arkansas. President Eisenhower sent troops to enforce school desegregation. 1960s civil rights era, used to protect civil rights workers when local police wouldn't. 1992, Los Angeles riots. President George H.W. Bush sent in federal troops after the Rodney King verdict, and request from the California governor. Each time it sparked debate. Was it a necessary move to restore order, or government overreach? In recent years, discussions about invoking the Insurrection Act have popped up again, especially during times of large-scale protests and national unrest. Legal experts and civil rights advocates warn that the law's vague wording could be abused. For example, a president could claim domestic violence or obstruction of laws and send troops without state consent. Military forces aren't trained for policing, so there's a risk of escalation or even civilian harm. And politically, it blurs the line between law enforcement and the military. In a democracy, that's a dangerous line to cross, because once the military starts enforcing civilian law, the balance between order and freedom shifts fast. Picture this. A massive protest breaks out in several states. Things get out of control. The president claims state authorities can't maintain order and announces the Insurrection Act. Troops move in. Curfews are enforced by soldiers. The military, once meant for foreign battlefields, is now patrolling American streets. That's not science fiction. It's what this law allows, and whether it's used for justice or for control depends entirely on who's in power. Supporters say it's a crucial tool to protect citizens when local law enforcement collapses. It's helped uphold civil rights in the past. It's better to have a legal process than chaos. Critics argue it gives too much unchecked power to one person. The military isn't trained for civilian policing. It could be weaponized politically. The truth is, both sides have a point. That's why many experts today are calling for reforms to clarify and limit when and how it can be used. Organizations like the Brennan Center for Justice have suggested reforms, like requiring Congress to be notified and setting time limits on deployments. Others want clearer definitions for words like insurrection and domestic violence, so no president can twist them to fit a political agenda. Because if history's taught us anything, it's that emergency powers, like once used, are rarely rolled back. So here's the big question. Should the president have the power to send troops into American cities, or is that power too dangerous in the wrong hands? Let me know what you think. Should the Insurrection Act stay, be reformed, or be scrapped entirely? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell. I've got more deep dives into U.S. laws, history, and government power coming soon. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week with a new video.